people within our group who couldn't be here or who will make one of the next ones. Because this is a very global group, we've got all kinds of times involved. Now, let me just see who. Oops. Here we go. Okay. So we still have a couple people trying to get in. They may or may or may not be able to. Got a couple people from Africa trying to get in, and that's always difficult. But whatever it is, here we are. First meeting of the Storytelling Lodge group. So we are the trailblazers, whoever's here tonight. Not even sure what that's going to mean yet, but that's okay. We'll see what it means. I think, yeah, why don't we do, there's not that many of us, so I think we can. Oh, here comes Darwin trying again from Africa. This is his third try. He doesn't give up easily. We got you, Darwin. Come on in, brother. It's trying. Yeah, when I envisioned this group, actually I didn't. We had some people asking us if there was going to be a group out of some of the work that Maya, Tanya, and Veronica and I were doing at conferences. So I thought, sure, why not? Let's have a little group and we can learn from each other on storytelling. We can share stories. We can think about ways we can use it. And I really was envisioning. Hello, Darwin. You made it. Welcome.
Welcome.
I'm going to mute you for a minute because you got feedback. There it is. So I envisioned maybe a dozen people or so, and we'd all sit around and do this. And then within about 4 days, there was over 100 people. I don't even know how many there are now, but I know there's over 100. So this thing has grown quickly. 122, 123, another one just joined. So I thought the best thing to do is have a few meetings and just talk about storytelling in general a bit. Talk about how do we see it, and then talk about this group and what might this thing offer, both to ourselves and to the general public, or the people who feel they need this sort of service. So before we jump into that, because there's not too many of us, there's now 10. Why don't we just go around and just briefly, whatever you want to share, name, where you're at, that would be nice. Do you feel like you are a storyteller, or are you here to learn something about storytelling, or anything else you want to share within a minute or so? Where do we want to start? Well, I'll start with me. Jim Graywolf Petruzzi. So I could be the guinea pig. Currently in Pennsylvania. I don't know for how much longer, but then I never know how long I'll be somewhere. So I am in eastern Pennsylvania, Lancaster County, home of the Amish. Been a storyteller for a long time. I guess as a kid I was a storyteller. That's what my mom told me, but I think that was a different meaning. I think she meant I was creating things to stay out of trouble. But I've gotten a lot of training from various elders in storytelling, and then kind of created my own style. So I am a storyteller. Maybe I'm mid-range competent, but also a student of storytelling. So I love hearing others and learning new ways and new reasons. That's it. Stick in the middle for me. Why don't we just go down the list? Angelique, you want to go next?
Sure. My name is Angelique Rodriguez, and I was also a part of the origin from the Storytellers Lodge. Jim had invited me to share there, and so had a wonderful time. Really enjoyed many of the other participants and sharings that happened. So I'm here to just continue that and continue to learn and meet new people and have a good time.
Great. And you're in,
I'm in Denver, Colorado.
yep, Colorado, one of our mountain
Yeah.
friends. Great. Thank you. All right. Who's next? Walter. Unmute, Walter.
There we go. Wonderful. Yeah, I'm signing in from Quilcene, Washington on the Olympic Peninsula, far northwest corner of the country. And I've dabbled in storytelling for several years on and off. And it is the magic of the storytelling that keeps me coming back. So I'm not such a seasoned veteran as some, but I'm here to learn and to share and to connect and enjoy community. So I'm a student like many.
Beautiful. Thanks, Walter. Thanks for bringing in that part of the country. Who's next? Darwin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, I'm Darwin, really, from Zambia. I think I just want both. What I mean by both is that I want to be a storyteller as well as I want to learn so that I can know how to be a better storyteller. Yeah, that's what I want.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Thanks for bringing in Africa for us. I think I muted myself. Rachel?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's see. I'm Rachel Leah, and I am from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. With a foot out the door, ready for a journey and add to my stories. I've written a book, but that doesn't mean I'm a storyteller. And actually, I'm more here to learn about what it is and to listen. I like stories. Plain and simple.
Yep. Perfect. And yeah, I think we're all here to both listen and share and learn. So that's nice. Thanks, Rachel.
Sure.
Ruth Ann.
I'm trying to prop my camera up and it keeps sliding off. I am attempting to incorporate the ancient language of the region I live in into stories. And I'm attempting to create maps with some of the ancient river names and places and add my stories to the map. So that's my little process. And I'm really intrigued to see what other people are doing and just experiment with storytelling. So I live in what some people call the Delmarva Peninsula, which is a piece of land between the Delaware Bay and the Chesapeake Bay. And it's kind of a teardrop. You might have heard of Misty of Chincoteague. Those ponies are down at the bottom of the peninsula. And the language is Lenape. And we say this is Lenape Hokink. Kike yuyam nanin kake. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruth Ann. Yeah, okay, so we're near each other. Yeah, and that's interesting. You brought in Lenape. I am Romani Gypsy by birth, but I'm also native blood, so I'm a member of the United Western Lenape Band out of Kentucky. So, which is not Lenape. Thank you for doing that. Let's see who's next. Sue.
So I'm Sue Blythe in North Central Florida, Gainesville, home of the Gators. And I'm working with a friend at the University of Florida on a program that we call a collaborative storytelling adventure. And we're just figuring out what that means. We don't know. And we're doing our best. And we figure everybody has, it's called the Climate Collaboratory. And it is everybody in the planet, everybody alive today has a climate story to tell that future generations will want to hear. And so we're kind of doing our best to document some of those stories and put them together in a way that tells a wonderful story of how we handle this climate crisis.
Great. Thanks, Sue. All right, let's see where we're at. I lose track of these things. Dan, the list. Dan, you didn't come on yet, right?
Hey neighbor, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. My name's Dan Chenoweth, and I'm here to learn stories. I don't know many of the, well, hardly any stories that I can talk about verbatim. But anyhow, and I've been on the path. Oh God, probably I don't know. 50 years or so, and maybe from birth, probably. That's a more appropriate, I think, answer. But and I'm just here to learn.
Great. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we realized on a call we were in for something else altogether that we're about 6 miles apart from each other, which was kind of interesting. Okay, moving along. So some people I'm going to label, if I may, because it's the community that does it. So Robin's next, and Robin is a master storyteller, in my humble opinion. Robin, you're on.
Well, I am if I can get unmuted. That's not usually a problem for me, as you well know. Thank you for that very much. And I'm still a student just like everybody else. I come from, well, I'm a merry mixed up mutt. I've got a little bit of Dutch and a little bit of French and 3 or 4 tribes from my United Colville Nations. Yeah. And some Cherokee. I've had the great good fortune over the years to learn from many Indigenous elders around the world. And a lot of those stories were originally told word for word. But because we were an oral tradition, we didn't have writing in most of those tribal areas. We're transliterating, I think is the word at this point in time. We're having to bring many things into modern forms so that people today can understand something that they might not understand as well if we told it from the perspective of how it happened 300 years ago. Yeah. I mean, they didn't have cars then, or airplanes, or these little things that we carry around all the time and have become an appendage. So I've written a couple of books, and where I'm at right now is really honoring the stories that I've been given the honor of hearing, because every time we hear a story, it is an honor. It comes from someone's heart, from the depths of their soul. Yeah. And there are just as many stories happening right here, right now, as all those stories that we tell from the traditional past. And they all have deep meanings. So I'm really glad to be here, and really glad to hear what you all have to say. And Sue, I think the project that you're taking on is immense. Yeah. Yeah. And oh so cogent, the book that we just finished is called Journey of the White Bear, and it's a journey around the medicine wheel as it applies to exactly what we need to change right now, because all of this was prophecy. So thank you.
Thanks, Robin. And that will lead beautifully when we finish this go around into the next part of the discussion. So excellent. And yeah, Sue's, oops, okay. Sue's project is really fascinating, and I'm feeling blessed that she asked me to be a small part of it too. So we'll keep the group informed as that thing moves along. Because, yeah, I mean, Robin, you're so right. The time is absolutely now. There's just no options about that. Now, let me see. A few others came in. Becky, looks like Becky's here.
Hello, everyone. I don't know why I look kind of so blue, but my name is Becky Big Canoe. I'm from Georgina Island, and that's on Lake Simcoe. It's about an hour north of Toronto. The lake's just freezing up now, but our ferry boat is still running. I don't know, I just kind of popped in when I was scrolling through Facebook. I could see this link about storytelling, and I like storytelling. I got a lot of stories too. So if you don't mind me joining you, I know I'm pretty far away, but I'll tell you a yarn or two.
Good. No, hey, everybody's welcome here, and you're not as far away as some. Like Darwin's checking in from Africa, so you're not that far.
Hey, bonjour, Darwin. Thank you. Shall I'll mute
That's good.
it now, right?
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. I'm wending my way. I'm saving the other two folks who I work with for last. Oh, it looks like Laura. Did I miss you, Laura? You must have come in somewhere. Okay, maybe she's just listening, or maybe there's a mic problem, but that's okay. I mean, however we participate here is perfect. It has to be. There's no choice. Okay, boom, 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 boom. All right, Maya.
Hi, everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, I was one of the co-stewards for the Storytellers Lodge for 7 days of rest, and what a wonderful week it was. I never thought of myself as a storyteller until a teacher of mine pointed out that I was a poet and a short story writer, and that actually is storytelling. But I would love to learn more. My friends all tell me that I tell great stories while we're in conversation, but that's with my friends. But I would love to be able to share more with people, and not always like have a paper in front of me that I'm reading a poem or something, but to just tell the story to groups. And I feel like stories are the threads that weave us together, and we so need to weave together now. We've unraveled, our whole world has unraveled. And especially, I would love to tell stories that open people's hearts, that help them to see beyond their own small world and feel belonging and connection to each other and to nature and all our relatives in the natural world, and to inspire people's creativity too. So I'm definitely in the learning curve with it, but I love to hear stories. Ever since I was a little kid, I had a grandmother and a grandfather who were great storytellers, and I feel very nourished by stories. So thank you all for being here. I'm excited to see what we might create together.
Yeah, me too. It's really fascinating the way this has tumbled and turned and grown, and so we're all here for a reason, for sure. So I think the only one left is Tanya. Well, first, Veronica is, I think she messed up the times. Veronica is down in South America, Uruguay. So she didn't make it, but she is one of the 4 who did the storytelling thing that Maya's talking about. And the other one is Tanya. I don't think she has video, but she's got audio. You're on, Tanya.
I do have audio. Thank you, Jim. Yes, I'm sorry about no video. I'm just not in a place where I can turn that on today. I am here to learn mainly. That's my main objective. Here to learn and hear stories from others. I think storytelling is can be so connecting. Just wholeheartedly agree with what Maya said on that. And I am one of the 4 co-creators with or co-stewards on the 7 Days of Rest events as well, the storytelling events. And yeah, it's all new to me, and I'm just excited to be here. That's essentially it. Super excited and looking forward to what can happen here together. And and I'm in Colorado.
Okay. Yeah, we have a pretty good representation of where people are. And then when we do another one to hit the people in Europe and Far East, we'll have a really good representation of ideas and thoughts. I think I got
didn't say where I was. I'm in Southern California in the land of the Chumash, right beside the ocean.
Right. So we got Southern California. Oh yeah, we won't list them. We have a lot of good representation here. So some of the things, let me pull that sheet up. Wrong place, wrong thing. Okay, I might be able to show this if we need to. Some of the things I suggest that we think about, you probably saw the questions. Let me just read through them quickly and then we'll go jump up to the first one and see if anybody, and not everybody has to respond to all these, but if something moves you, let's hear it. I guess to start, I was on Zoom earlier today with another one of our friends. I think she calls herself, she changed her name, I'm sorry, Ayala now? Doesn't matter. But she's another younger one, which is great. I love seeing the multiple generations coming together for this. But what popped out of that was we were talking a little bit about storytelling because she wants to add in some other things. And we came up with, it means one thing it does is puts humanity into the virtual realm. Because I was wondering, what the heck's it doing on the virtual realm? I was taught around the fires, like some of you. So anyway, the things that occurred to me earlier were, what is storytelling? Is it important? Why or why not? What role is there for storytelling in the virtual realm? What can the Storytellers Lodge that we're part of contribute to the common good? And what can it contribute to each of us? So those are just, I put some on the top of my head. You guys may have a lot more. But why don't we start with the first one, because that I think everybody would resonate to. What is storytelling? And down in reactions, there's a raise hand symbol. If people want to use that, then I'll see when, whoops, somebody else showed up. When somebody wants to speak. Robin.
First, I have to tell a one-line story. It snowed in Green Valley, Arizona yesterday.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I chose that for a reason. Every story has a reason. Yeah. This is something that doesn't happen in Green Valley, Arizona. Stu was talking about climate change. It snowed in Green Valley, Arizona yesterday. Yeah. That's a story in itself, let alone the pictures that I took and the snow on the fence outside and all those different things. That can lead to a whole long story. But it doesn't really matter how short or long it is. It's what does it mean? How does it apply in our lives? What are we going to do with it once we've heard it? Or are we just going to ignore it? Yeah. which we've been pretty famous for doing. So part of this time, I think, is regenerating stories, bringing them out so that especially the younger ones can hear them and learn from them. And you know this, Jim, because it's posted on the Storytellers Lodge page. But in our traditional societies that told these things year after year after year, you started hearing them when you were 2. And it had one meaning then. And when you were 12, it had an entirely different meaning, even though it was the same words. When you were 22, it meant something else. And when you were 42 and 72, it meant a whole lot different things. Yeah. I think that we've put a lot of violence into a lot of storytelling now that's on TV and stuff. I think it's time for us to bring those regenerative stories in. The cycles of life.
Good.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And good points. I was commenting today, we had something on TV and I was just looking for a nice comedy to watch. And almost every comedy opens up with people being killed or dying. I'm sorry. You know, what's wrong with just some comedy? Okay, that's good. Anybody else want to contribute to that one? What is storytelling? There's no right or wrong, by the way.
Walter looks like he has something to share.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
This thing isn't working. Walter,
Yeah,
go for
I
it.
wanted to share a certain perspective that I have come to understand story as this amazing, magical, invisible being that comes to life between the teller and the audience. And just like Robin spoke about, and kind of paraphrasing, we do not see the world as it is, but as we are. And so whatever's going on within us, whether we're 2 or 12 or 72, there are different things going on within us that we see, that we feel, that we experience and relate to with the story. And so that's how the story touches us and finds its way magically within us. And so to carry a story is a privilege and an honor and a responsibility. And so I wish to honor this in such a way and learn from whoever has something to share and continue the tradition forward.
Good working definitions coming. Thank you. Very good, Walter. Yeah, anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to add, this is Angelique.
Angelique, yeah.
For me, the way, I'm sorry if I'm breathing hard, I'm out on a walk. I just slowed my pace though. When I think of a story, it's more like, not more like, but what I envision is like a breath, like you're breathing life into something and creating this alternate perception within somebody that has the ability to move every cell in them, like it becomes alive within them and it touches their heart and it touches them all over in their body where there's a resonance and a memory, and it's like an imprint that happens. And like as we change and our cells change, that imprint, like everyone is saying, has a different meaning, a different lesson, a different perspective, even though it's like a fractal of it, even though it's still the same story, it takes on a different meaning and a new life. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Angelique. Very good. Very good. Yeah, okay. So we're hitting what is storytelling. We're also, I think, starting to dig into why is it important? Because they do kind of go together, I guess. Yeah, for me, just to I totally agree with everything that's being said so far. And I also consider myself a storyteller and a student. And I want to hear more stories. That's why I'm glad we're shaping up to be a diverse group, because we all work with a certain number of teachers over time, but there's so many different storylines out there. And it's nice each time I learn a different storyline, different culture, I get a better shot of the broader culture and how do we connect together. So for me, that's one big thing. Why is it important? I'll shift into that for me. And it's important for tons of reasons, I think. And some of what we're saying here, we're speaking from the heart, so it breathes life into, especially here when we're looking at each other on a screen. I was trained like some of you, like Robin, I know, and probably Rachel and some of the others, sitting around the fires and being trained in telling stories. That's how it was. That was, I traveled all around. I spent a long time doing that. Now we're in this realm. And so it is harder, at least for me. So if we can tell stories and learn more and more how to tell them from our hearts and from our guts, I think that allows us to get some of that feeling, just some, of sitting next to people around the fire and sharing the stories and whatever, having something to eat. I think that's really important. I think the other one is, and we have a couple of younger people here, younger than some of us. I heard some of you say you're older. I mean, I'm only 30, but you guys, that's okay. Um, I work a lot with some of the young folks, especially around climate change, including what I'm happily doing with Sue. And I recognized um, they would ask me things because I've gotten myself in so much trouble in the past that I could advise them what not to do, or occasionally something that actually worked. And I realized when I would be talking to them, if it's a panel like this, and sometimes there's 50 or more of them, and I would look just to see what was going on, and maybe a third of them are, functionally asleep, even though their eyes are still open. And some others you can see they're like, when's he going to tell us all he has to? And that's, that's normal. I do it when I'm just hearing dry facts or just having something related. And for one of these things, I just started telling my story and things I'd been through that related to what they were asking me. And I noticed that virtually the entire group stayed fully awake throughout that story. And I went, dummy, why you been doing this the wrong way? You know what storytelling can do. And so I started doing more and more of it, and I see it as more and more effective. So I'm hoping that even as we do this for ourselves to learn more stories, to help with our healing, whatever we're doing, we can also use this as a better tool to get to others, individually and collectively. There's some things I think we can do collectively if we want. So I'll be quiet. Who else wants to speak on these? Why is it important? Or is it?
I will share. I think particularly now that so many people have been steeped in television and movies, and that it's very important. The storytelling invokes the imagination. It's like we've had our images force fed to us through the media, and to go back to storytelling, which used to be done around the fires, and I had learned some of that too. I went to camp and we sat around the fire and told stories. That it allows each person to relate to the story in their own way and to come up with the pictures and the images and the felt sense and the emotions with the story that is uniquely theirs. And I think we're in danger of just getting oversimplified or something, and losing our imaginations, which to me, imagination is the source of creativity and ability to create. So I think it's wonderful that I'm seeing storytelling all over the internet now, and events once we open up again of storytelling. So um, very, very excited about how this might transform and regenerate our culture.
Yeah, well said, Maya. I agree totally. Yes. It is a new way of going back to the old way, in effect. Pardon me, Tanya.
Yeah, I think storytelling is really important for us to relate to one another and to understand each other better. And I think it's a really effective tool for learning or for teaching, whichever way you're looking at it, on whichever end you are. And it's also inspirational. It can be very, very inspirational. I think stories can be fantastic, fantastic tool for that. So that's my 2 cents.
Good 2 cents. Sue.
My introduction to storytelling was a course at Earth Charter International at the University for Peace in Costa Rica. And it was a 5-day course, and the day 1 was tell your own story. Like, what's my story? And so we just each told a little about who we are, and second day was act out somebody's story and tell it, and with some action. Then 3 people would put together a story and act it out. And by the end of the week, we had a day of creating a story that we then acted out as a whole group, that brought our personal stories into the global human story and with the community of life on Earth. And so I asked the 2 men who put that course on, could you come to the University of Florida and do this with people there? They said, yes, of course. Well, it takes a lot of money to do that. So what has happened instead is that experience, which was now 6 years ago, has grown in me to be this collaborative storytelling adventure that I just feel is coming to life. It's just such a joy to be in a group of people wondering, what do we do with storytelling? Won't it be fun to find out?
Yeah, that's when I struggle with it quite a bit too. Having this virtual realm to do these things is awesome, but I think we also need to get back to getting out there and sitting with people and doing this as well. And how do we do that? Because yes, it takes a lot of money sometimes to do those things, but I think those things will start to appear because it is critical. When I think about all the years I spent sitting at those fires and listening and learning, and not just the stories, but the healing approaches and plants and whatever. Um, oh, what a gift! I didn't realize it then, but what a gift to be given. And still, we sit and we do these Zooms, and that's also a gift. But there's still you can't quite capture that experience of being there with a number of people. So we'll see if that becomes part of it too. I'm going to, if he has anything, Darwin, anything come to you about why is storytelling important in your part of the world?
Yeah, yeah. I think on my part, storytelling is important because yeah, when a story is being told, those people that will be listening to a story, they'll be able to learn something from the person that is sharing the story. For example, I'm in the other part of the world, in Africa. So maybe if I'm here, then someone is telling a story in this room, I'll be able to know what happens or the perspective of some other part of the world. I, for one, if I tell a story, maybe could be culture, like just the environment or what goes around in Africa. So if I'm able to tell a story, somebody maybe who is there, if they've never been here, they'll be able to like have the perspective of what goes around in Africa, Zambia. Yeah. And if I tell a story, maybe somebody who is reading to that story also learn something and they'll be able also to share the story to others that might be beneficial too. So yeah, I think that's what I can say. That's why I can say that storytelling is important. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks for bringing that in. Um, with so many huge challenges in front of us right now globally, I think what Darwin says is spot on. It's a real way to draw us together, and I keep seeing that happen in the various efforts that I'm a part of. But the storytelling to me just kind of it's over all of that. It combines all of that. We can share our stories. Sue is working on climate change. So am I with a bunch of groups. But there's other things too that these stories help us with. As we know, we dealing with social change and social injustice and on and on and on. Sharing those stories, we start to see more of how we're alike, not how we're different. When I stepped on this road a lot of years ago and started doing ceremonies, I remember when I first started doing sweat lodges, I was so amazed because I expected everyone to be so different. And in reality, no. The outside trappings were different, but what was going on in that lodge and in each of us, they were the same. And boy, that just shifted my whole perspective. If we can do that for other people and then have them share it down, I think we've accomplished a ton in how we come together. Yeah, good input. Let's see what else we had up here. Oh, okay, so we started on it. What else can storytelling do? Or maybe it's time to shift. Okay, let's shift into our Storytellers Lodge and let's do some brainstorming there. What might we do with that? I intentionally haven't put much up, nor have Maya or Tanya or Veronica. So this can evolve out of all of us. Whoops. What the heck? I hope you're all still there. Okay. I totally lost the image.
Can I share?
Sure.
Okay.
Becky, yeah.
Okay. I'm a member of the Anishinaabe people of the Great Lakes, and I also have Algonquin. It's called. It's from the Quebec area. Also, Ganawage people, Haudenosaunee, and some Irish, and I'm not sure about French, but probably. But for me, storytelling is every story is a fiber in a basket you're weaving that is your culture, is your life way. Like when I think about storytelling, it's very much attached to our relationships within our families and tribes. And it's also um, like if each story is going to illustrate something that the people hold dear as in their principles of life, like we have what we call 7 grandfather teachings. And so they are like the importance of love, honesty, courage. Like there's 7 of them. And so every story would be an illustration of one of those traits or something, so that like the youngsters start to absorb what the meaning of that is in that circle that you've got, whether it be around a fire or around a net full of fish that you're pulling out of the net, or while you're sitting in the canoe racing together, or in the quiet times. The information, the stories, the culture, it's conveyed that way. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Nice, thank you. I think we have a couple other folks in the circle from your area. I think Brock Foster is up there and Shannon Crossbear. I think they're both up your way. So we're covering the country pretty well. All right, so we can share some of that with others as a group. So that's a good input. Yeah. What else might we do out of this group? Walter.
There is a storytelling group on the Quimper Peninsula here that I've been involved with off and on in recent years. There's a tradition amongst the tellers there about feeding the story and feeding the teller. And so there is a certain engagement with the audience that can be beneficial for the teller and perhaps for the story as they heard it and what's going on and, you know, how did it land, et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm saying is that each of us can learn so we can be fed, and perhaps the story can be fed too. So just some ideas that might be useful as we go forward.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Also, Jim, I'd like to make a
Or
comment
Angelique, yeah.
here. Yeah, like my elder Becky was saying, like there was the 7 threads that their tribe kept together in their stories. And it made me think about like the resonance that a story holds, especially when it was word for word. They literally were conveying the same message every single time vibrationally, which created like a resonance for their lineage and for the imprint and footprint that their traditions held, whether it be in the land or the water or on the hearts of the people who heard it. But it kind of carried the lineage and the line of that resonance of that particular family or tribe. And so I think as we move forward, one of the things that I would think that we would want to look at is what resonance do we want to set for this tribe, and what lineage do we want to lead and for people to join us with, and like people who hear these stories later, like what is it that the groundwork and the foundation of the message that we want to carry, like, and I don't know if everyone would agree with that, but that's just something that came to my mind.
I like that. That's a really good, that's a good question. I like that a lot. Yeah, well, let's leave that for more thought, because I could open my mouth on it, but we'll just narrow it. Let's leave that wide open. But I think that's a great question. And the door just opened for Veronica. Veronica is the other, what did we call ourselves, Maya?
Host
Ma-
stewards.
Thank you. The other host steward from our storytelling venture. Hey, Veronica.
Hey, hey, everyone.
So
Thank
just-
you, Jim,
Yeah.
for
Share a little bit. Where are
creating this
you?
call.
Yeah. What is storytelling? Why are you here?
Um, I'm in Uruguay. It's very late here, and the my children just fell asleep. And yeah, storytelling for me, it's opportunity to connect with our ancestors or our history, our wisdom from different generations, and also to share what we are experiencing now. I feel like it have connected me, especially now in the Water Week. It has been very powerful. I felt very connected to water. That was the topic. So I could feel how powerful it is, because in my life, I had share stories, but this kind of intentional storytelling with so much heart and direction, yeah, gave me a deeper understanding of the importance it has. So I really feel like I would like to go deeper in this and to involve my family, the children, and there's a lot of ideas and inspiration coming or moving in me right now around storytelling in my community, in the community for elders that is in process of being, being born, or like it's in, how do you call it, in the womb of creation. So yeah, I'm very grateful to have this space with you all to learn more and yeah, grow in this direction.
Thanks, Veronica. Yeah, you probably want to chat with Sue at some point too. There's a connection there, Sue. I know I can feel it. Anyway, I'll hook you guys up later. Somebody asked me, and I haven't quite answered it anywhere yet, but just here for now. How does the White Otter Academy tag into this? Some know me from Sanctuaries of the Earth Mother and my work in Standing Rock. They wanted to know how they all connected. And I don't have a really good answer yet, so I haven't put one up there. However, my basic nonprofit is Sanctuaries of the Earth Mother. I was using that for years. I was doing elder wisdom circles out of that, a couple a month. And I guess a little less than a year ago now, I got the ancestors telling me, you need to start this White Otter Academy. Make it fun, add other elements in. So I did. I haven't really questioned that as to why or where it'll all go. But it's starting to evolve now. And then out of that came the whole storytelling thing and elders, some diverse wisdom circles we've been doing. So that's how it evolved. And I see Ruth Ann has a picture of an otter, which is perfect. Thank you. So yeah, no, that's how it evolved. And again, and it's not, this isn't something we want to force, I think. We want to let this come. We want to welcome this. We want to really feel this as we go along, because it is important. And all of you here tonight, I want to thank you, because there's a reason for the ones who are here tonight. I don't know what that is, but I can feel that energy building too. You feel that, Walter? Yeah. Yep. Some heads are nodding, so I guess I'm not crazy. Others are feeling it too. Veronica's giving me the thumb up. Yeah. So Veronica, I'm glad you were able to make it. Sorry for the, Veronica and I always seem to get our times mixed up, and we're only off by, I think, 2 hours, but I don't know, just happens. Maya, I see you got your golden hand up.
Yes, I just listening to Becky and to Angelique, I have a sadness that in my family, there are not the stories, lineage stories. There are just a very few about maybe a grandfather or great grandfather, but how, I feel that sadness, that missing piece, that I didn't get that kind of storytelling about my particular lineages. And I have a number of ones. European and one native too. And that, so, I was like, I don't have those stories of my lineage to pass on. And I want to hear those stories, because I feel there's so much richness. I think both my grandmother and grandfather told teaching stories, but they weren't from, our lineage particularly. And so I wonder about that. There'd be a place for that, and also for just us bringing our wisdom, like that we choose something that we want to hear about. And I want to hear more about Sue's work too, because I think, I'd love to hear everybody share a story about their relationship to water or to fire, or to a time when they got lost in nature and how they found their way, or a time when, a tree talked to them, or, just that kind of thing where we start weaving our connection to the other realms that way, more horizontally. So I think there's room for all of the above. I would love to have somebody teach us a story that we could all learn and have permission to repeat. So there's many avenues that we might go. I get very excited at all the options.
Yeah, that's more good points. And as I'm hearing you, I didn't get too many. For me, just a real quickie. My grandmother was a medicine woman in Italy and southern Switzerland, and it skipped a generation, and then it was going to be me. Well, I didn't know about this until I was 22, I think, and we were at a wedding, and she called me over and she started to tell me stories, and she told me what she had done in the old country, as she called it, and that I was going to inherit that, and I was going to have to go out and learn all this. And at 22, I thought she was a crazy old lady. But then she said, and I'm sorry, I should have started sooner because I have to leave tonight. And I figured she meant leave the wedding. Well, she died at 3 a.m. So that was the only bit that I had, Maya. I had to explore from there on myself, and found out that much of what she said was true. When I got my DNA, it turns out, yes, I'm Romani Gypsy, even though my family said, oh no, we're just Italian. So yeah, I think sharing those stories is critical. And as I'm listening to you, Maya, the who was it? Angelique, I think, talked about the resonance for our tribe, which I think is a beautiful, heartfelt piece. We are a tribe. We are developing a tribe here. There's a lot of people in it right now. I don't know how many will stick. It doesn't matter. But we will also tell the story of our tribe here. This tribe is a family. This is a new time and a new way we'll use storytelling. And I think it'll be on us to be able to share those stories. Where will we be in 5 years and talk about the night we sat here and talked about these things? It just fascinates me to think about that. So yeah, thanks for triggering that, Maya. That's awesome. Veronica, did you have your hand up or were you just doing a thumbs up?
I put my hand up, if I
Veronica.
might. I don't know why I look so
Oh, there you go,
white.
Becky. Okay, go ahead.
If I may.
Yeah.
I do a lot of observing of what's going on in the world, and a lot of thinking about how we've come to this place we're at now. And if you look at it as a situation and you try to extrapolate what could happen from where we are now. So I use those guidelines and I try to think about things. And one thing that came to us Anishinaabe people, we had a gathering back in 2016. And we came together over our concern for the health of the water, first of all, in the Great Lakes. And we employed an older method of meeting and determining what we were going to come up with, which was we separated women, youth, men. We had 2 spirits there and elders. And so we were all supposed to talk about the issues and bring forth our concerns and our suggestions and everything. And then we gave it all to the elders. And then we gave them time for their deliberation. So then, in the following days, they came back to us and we formed a circle and they told us how they think we need to proceed in order to protect the water. So we took all that in. But during that ceremony, a young man came paddling in. He had paddled a big portion of the Georgian Bay in order to get to that gathering. And he came into the circle, and luckily for him, it was a nice dusty top there, so you could draw in it. So you can draw pictures in it. So he told us about this vision that he had as he was like traveling towards that gathering. And it was like the lodge of the clans was rebuilt. And it was really necessary for us to reanimate our clan structure of governance, because our alternative is that government imposed hierarchical competitive system, right? So I really feel for that. I think that's so important, right? But in my thinking, I go, why couldn't we extend to the whole planet how this system works? Because it's very important. Like, we embody the traits of our relatives, and like, I wanted to smile when you talked, Jim, because I'm Otter Clan. And the first name I was given was Otter Woman. So therefore I have to be silly and play a lot, but that's okay. But I was thinking that if instead of national governments and party politics, let's try to imagine if in some way in this world we could institute a clan system, so that me being Otter Clan and Darwin being Otter Clan in Zambia and Sue being Otter Clan in Florida means we're all related. We have a relationship, brotherhood, sisterhood. In the clan system, each of the clans has a particular responsibility of an area that benefits all the tribe. So you have all these different areas being covered and put back into circle to help, right? To help make sure everything is maintained that we need to survive. So, but it's like it's an honor system in a way, because your performance, your abilities, your principled behavior reflects on all your brothers and sisters in your clan, whether they're in the next village or around the world. You see what I'm saying? Anyway.
Yes.
I would like to try to like take those thoughts and build stories out of them, like how we are recreating a humanity in the next new time, which is very much on our doorstep. Like, we have to go forth from this point, really birthing new ideas with intent, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm looking to try to expand my intellect and my everything to see how that could work. And I know that as an individual, I can't think of everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but because it's projection of future, it's not stories of the past, but we need what we learned in the past to build that future.
I love that. It's like to tell the new story together. For all of us together to tell the new story. Yeah.
Exactly. And if we had a system of clans, then it wouldn't matter what our origin was. Right? From this day forward, we are Bear Clan, or we are Eagle Clan, or we are Mouse Clan, whatever it is. And anyway, I offer that.
I love
thanks.
that.
Love. Be watch.
I'm going to ask everybody here tonight to task you guys. Everyone who's had these brilliant ideas, capture however you want in writing, in a short video, capture your key ideas. And then we'll have each, and we'll see how we move them ahead. I think, Becky, I think that's brilliant. I love that. I was talking to my chief today, Two Dog, Charles Two Dog. He'd be here tonight, except half of one of our clans is down with the coronavirus, so he's more than a little busy. But we were talking about some of that too, and the government regulated who is part of what, where, when nonsense, which we really have to eliminate. Yeah, I mean, one nation, one mother, one tribe. That's really what we are, and we have a lot of otters here, which I find humorous. Robin, hands up, I see.
I bet we have a lot of wolves too.
Hey,
there you go.
I'm a wolf otter.
I just pictured that. It's a great picture. One of the wisest men I've ever known said that today we have tribes of affinity. And when I hear what's happening here, this feels like a tribe of affinity. We are coming together around a common reason. And we can develop goals from that. And I also, Becky, work with the Wheel of Co-Creation, which this beautiful woman named Barbara Marks Hubbard, who learned a lot from many Indigenous people over her lifetime. She brought out the first Wheel of Co-Creation in 2011. First, whatever that means. First modern one. When I saw it, I said, oh, well, that's the modern way that we can work with the medicine wheel. And then I found out that it wouldn't work unless we use those 7 grandfather teachings, which in my tribe are the 7 poles that hold up the teepee. Yeah, the wheel of relationships. Because if we don't know how to hold our relationships, we can't do the rest of it. It's just not going to happen. And that's one of the things that is very broken in our current world. So when I heard Angelique talking and I heard about lineages, and you're working on this too, Jim, multi-generational trauma, healing that. It's in every culture. Yeah, the stories can help with that. Lineages can be created and they can come through our blood, through our DNA. So there's room for all of that. Yeah. And there's one of the teachings of the Wheel of Co-Creation is you don't do something just because you can. You have to want to do it. Yeah. One of my stories about me is I don't like to go to the gym. And I used to tell myself I had to go to the gym to get in shape, right? Okay, first week I got up 4 days out of 7 and I went and did it. Second week, I got up 3 days out of 7 and I went and did it. By the 4th week, I'm in bed. I don't get up. I did not want to do that. Yeah. So whatever portion of the circle we decide to be a part of, whatever our clan is, in a tribe of affinity, it has to be the clan that we most desire to work in.
I wanted to add something to that. That's really a good insight and beautiful. But because I thought of it earlier, just didn't say it. So when you have that clan, then you have like there's story, song, and dance.
Absolutely.
Have to have those. And then feasting, of course, around everything. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The story, the people that would have a song in common and a dance to honor whatever their emblem is. And then we have ceremony together, and then we dance together, and then we start having fun and loving each other. And we don't have to like go drag ourselves back through our trauma. The stories there, they'll come out appropriate time, but we shouldn't make that like a point of our new discovery. Okay? Anyway, I hope that added. Thank you.
No, it did.
If I could, I'd like to comment on that.
Angelique, go ahead.
I thoroughly agree. I think it's really important to be aware of our origin when it comes to frequency, especially when our intention is to reset things, because we can't create something different from the same vibration of the past. So I would just ask that we all give that some attention, to be really mindful that, of just, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Joe Dispenza's work, but he talks about creating our future and holding the frequency of our future and creating it from there, because then the law of resonance is like attracts like, and that's what has to come back to us by universal law. So if we're in these lower frequencies of the traumas, trying to create a new reality, it's not going to work. We have to be in that new reality with the experience of our traumas, and not to not acknowledge them in an honorable or respectful way, but to be conscious of how we co-create and utilizing it to our fullest capability at this point, because it's important. Thank you.
Good.
That's exactly what I was going to say when you said that, Joe Dispenza. He says we can no longer be defined by the memories of our past. We have to be defined by the vision of our future. And that is always in my head. That goes around and around, and that's true. We have to create a new story together, and it needs to be a future story. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there. I was just inspired.
I'm glad you did. Yeah, that's exactly right. I guess my primary teacher was John Two Bears. He just died about 3 months ago. So he was 71, 81, 90. He was 95. 95? Yeah, 94, 95. That's what he said. When the time comes, you better be ready, because I won't be here. A lot of you will, but you better include the young people, because you won't be here till the end either. So yes, we have to plan forward. Enough of all the stuff behind us. Let's look forward. And that's why some of us working with young people are great. And I hope some of them come into this community as we build it. We have some younger people in the group. Some of them are here tonight, but we need even younger than that. So I think that'll happen just on its own. And I know some that I'll invite when the time's right, but I think we needed to see what the heck we were and where we were moving first. Yeah.
I just wanted to mention, we are having a vegan convergence this coming weekend, and we invited the hero kids to come and talk and create a new story. If you want to, I can send you the link. I think it's on Sunday night or Saturday night, and it's a Zoom.
Great.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's a Zoom, but I wanted to invite you actually to come. I mean, anybody of any of you can come. And it's going to be young kids talking about how they see the future, what kind of world they would like to create. So I actually suggested it to them because of you, Jim. Because of
Thank
what
you. I'm so young. I know.
Right.
No, I
So,
would love
yeah.
to. I would love to be present.
Yeah,
for that.
yeah. Okay, so I'll send you the link.
If you send it to me, if it's okay, I'll put it up in the group.
Put it in the chat, maybe.
In the chat, yeah.
I don't have it yet. They're
Oh,
still
no,
working
when you
on
get it, when you get it. I know
When I
Veronica.
get it,
I know
and yes,
Veronica will want to be there with her kids. I can see that. Go ahead, Veronica.
It's
Oh,
okay.
that,
Just send it out in the group, but don't make it public on Facebook.
Oh, no, right.
Because we were hacked last time and we
Yeah.
didn't want to do that again. So,
Gotcha.
but I can actually put a link in here and you can register for the whole event. It's free. You can register for free, and then you can find that Zoom link yourself. So let me get working on that. I'll work on that.
Perfect.
can I say something?
Yeah.
I just excited about this that you're sharing, Giva. Giva, how do you call your? How does it sound? Her name is Giva or Giva?
Hold on, it's Jiva. I just had to
Giva.
come back because I was
Okay,
looking for the
I wanted to say it right.
It's
Yeah,
Jiva.
and listening to all of you, because when I just arrived, I wasn't immersed in this ocean with all of you. Oh, and now I feel like a lot is moving. And I feel like a strong movement and vibration in my chest, and And yes, I had this image when you all were talking. I hold an event in Sweden called Conscious Parenting All Generations Festival. And last year it didn't happen because of the virus, but the year before it did. And we had like children council, and we also have like a elders group. It was only 2 then. But for me, one of the things that I felt when you all were talking was like all humanity as one being. And like since we started our journey on Earth, like we were babies, and now we are growing all together. No, we are new cells all the time, moving in this huge human. And what the stories that we have from since we started here, how they are our like also the wisdom, that we can integrate. And so listening to the past in a way, it also like kind of somehow brings up things that we already know, and can maybe in the moment they arrive, it awakens also a vision for a clarity for the future, like even that the future is different, but this thing that comes from the past, it kind of like, I don't know. I think the stories, when they arrive with a message that had to come in that time, and they can propulsate, or I don't know how to say that in English. Sorry, it's very late here. But it like kind of wake up things, like, I don't know. And I love the idea of this that came up right now in me when I was listening to you, of this oneness, no? And for me, that's one of the most important things. And when working with children, or like talking with children and teenagers, I noticed that it's so important to feel like this belonging to nature, and that they have a role, and that they're needed, like they're here for a reason. Because now, I mean, for me, it took years to come to understand this, and they are like fresh, and they have it when they're small, but as they go to school, and as they come into the society that is already here, I can see that they start losing this trust in the importance, or what they come to give, like, so giving these spaces like Jiva, and kind of, we want to listen to you, like, what is that you bring? Wow, this is huge gift for the youth, I feel like. Yeah, and to all of us, because I mean, we need to listen to all generations to be able to really take wise steps. So that's what I wanted to share. I feel very inspired and very grateful. Thank you.
Great. Yeah.
I'd like to say something, Jim. This is Dan.
Yeah, I got Ruth Ann waiting too. Is yours want to be a short one?
Either way, it doesn't matter.
Let's go to Ruth Ann, and then I'll come back to you.
Okay, that's
Great.
fine.
Go ahead, Ruth Ann. You've been waiting patiently. Sorry.
No, it's been a wonderful wait.
Good.
I've been appreciating so many of the various sharings, and I keep thinking of that teaching called the 4 Agreements. Those of you who are familiar with it might be able to say more about it. But when Becky talked about the 7 pillars of their teaching, the 7 values or characteristics of the grandfathers, what if you made it simpler and adopted the 4 agreements, and then see how they each collect a different story? So there even could be an index that is in those categories, the integral word, having impeccable, that's the word, the impeccable word. And then that's a whole group of stories that could be shared under that topic. So anyway, I just thought about it as a way of being together, or an expectation, almost like protocol or etiquette that could be adopted by the whole group. And it would just bring some focus, some forward focus that's good for the future.
I would just like to say that it's true. It's very important to have protocol and etiquette in our dealings with each other. Thanks for saying that. We went.
And then Jim, I wondered if you could share a little more about the Otter School. Is that a children's storytelling school?
Okay, let me shift to Dan, and then I'll share a little bit of that. And then I wanted to shift a bit because there's so many things coming out of this meeting that I think my head just blew up. But then I thought maybe we'd share a few short stories, and then Maya was going to take us out with a poem, if that works for everybody. Before I go to Dan, though, because I'm going to forget, my short-term memory is not what it used to be. But the way we're just finding each other and the way these things are meshing, and I like what you're saying, Ruth Ann, I think we'll probably create our own pillars in this. And I don't know what they'll look like, but I think, yeah, they're important. They definitely are important. Now, if we're creating a tribe here, or whatever we call it, yeah, that'll happen. So Sue and I connected. I can't even remember how, if she reached out or whatever. Doesn't matter. So Monday, oops, I'll be doing I did a lot of radio shows. I still do occasionally with my chief. But we'll be doing a radio show, myself and a young man. How old is he, Sue? 6? Wait, I got on meter.
10 years old.
10. So
13.
13. Oh man, he aged 3 years just like that. Oh, that's scary. Oh. So he'll be interviewing me and I'll be interviewing him. And I think that's more of what we can do also, because the young also have stories. We tend to forget that. Even though they're young, doesn't mean they don't have some powerful stories. I'll bet you Veronica can verify that with her kids.
Jim, may I just share? I'm going to put in the chat.
Lost you.
So you're muted.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, the the same young man, 13 years old, his name is Adrian Alvarez, is going to be interviewed by a friend of mine, Sharon Ria, and then he is going to interview her. Anyway, it's back and forth, and we've got 2 elders and 2 children, Adrian, age 13, and his 2 younger sisters. And we're doing this, we're just playing with, see how it works, this intergenerational interview / storytelling, whatever it is. And so I will be on Facebook tomorrow at 4 Eastern time, if anyone would like to join us. It'll be wonderful.
Maybe you want to post that up on the storytelling group.
Well,
if you want to, you don't have to.
I probably will not get there. I don't do Facebook.
Okay.
And so if you want to put that up, it would be fine.
Yeah, if you email me, I can put it up.
Well, can you get that from the chat?
Is it here?
I put it in the chat.
Oh, I just saw it. It's kind of, okay, I'll try to find that. Okay.
Thanks.
Whew. Dan, did you have more to put in?
Yes. My thought is, and the way that I operate, okay, my experience from youth up into my late 20s was being immersed in the Western society without much native indigenous thought. And a lot of people that I talk to, like in the talking circle that we have and such, they have the same experience. So when I talk in the circle, not all the time, but sometimes what I do is I expose some of my experiences on my journey of when it started and to go on. And in them, they're just personal experiences that I've had that they can at least, it's like planting a seed within people with has the same experience of what the possibilities are of being human and such. And you shared a story about the tree here a little bit ago. Okay, such that was your experience, showing that it was just that was that. Telling, I see the benefit of telling the old stories, but it's there's wisdom in them, and that's why I want to learn, expose myself to them. But at the same time, if the vision is to expand it, sometimes one's telling their own personal journey and what were moments that or realizations of different abilities that we have, different relationships with rocks, waters, trees, other human beings, whatever, that helps. I feel that helps for others to, of like bringing up or their story from that point to when they got there in the circle, okay, that they can relate to in a way that when they see something happen, like a coincidence, okay, there's many coincidences that happen, okay, and it's being aware of that process. That's the cosmic intelligence talking to us, okay, that experience. And it's when they hear, I feel that when they hear a personal experience of what happened just to myself, okay, that it might help them be aware of moments and to reconnect with that communication. I find I think that should be in the realm of possibility of the storytelling that we have. Okay, it would be almost like, if we stay just to the old stories, because like it's been said, we are creating a new story. And it's really, really messed up at this time. Not the news story, but how do we bring it together? How do we bring it to life?
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to add. And thank you, Jim.
Great. Again, you're right.
This is the hard part of our collective hero's journey. We're getting to the climax.
Yeah, old endings and new beginnings. Whew. Would anyone like to share a somewhat short story? Don't everyone put your hand up at once. Take your time.
I'll share a quick one that happened today.
Good.
Being that's my realm. I had posted something on Facebook last night about it was a poem that someone wrote about their sister who died of COVID. Okay. And so I basically copied and pasted it and put it on. Okay. But I didn't say that my sister didn't die. Okay. So I have a lot of condolences. Okay, but I don't know if you know Susan Stanton. Do you know Susan? Okay, so I was writing her, I was messaging her, and while I was messenger, I just sort of wanted some insight of whether or not I should go back in and change it or let it be. And as I was writing that, okay, this murder of crows, there must have been, there was over 100 or 200 crows that landed in the trees right outside my window where I was writing. Okay, and what she wrote back to me, which I hadn't thought about, was they were bringing change. It's good to see the crows in flight, to be going. So that experience led to me looking at it in that manner, and it just gave me another piece of the pie. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Whew. What a powerful 2 hours.
I'll share something. Oh, it's been 2
Yeah.
hours? I thought it started at 7. So I'm in a different time zone.
Yeah, we started at 8 in the Eastern.
So it started at 6. Okay, but next time I'll know. Sorry about that.
Doesn't matter.
I was really late.
We're all here when we need to be.
Yeah, I guess so. So I just share something that happened also like a couple of days ago, which I thought was a really nice sign. You know, I don't know if you all know, but I am more into the animal, saving the animals and helping the animals, and, you know, getting squared away with the animal cruelty and stuff like that. So I'm on that side, or not side, but I'm there. And so I'm walking the dog, and it's raining, and I'm thinking about, you know, our convergence and veganism and the animals. And I'm thinking, you know, the animals really teach us a lot. You know, they're so forgiving, and they are right there when you stop hurting them. They're right there loving on you. And it's just amazing how they are. And so I'm thinking about all that, and I'm walking, and I look down, something is glistering, it's like sparkling. And I pick it up, and it's a St. Francis figure. I found a St. Francis figure on the side of the road. And I'm like, duh, I'm thinking about the animals and all that, and there's the sign. I'm finding a St. Francis figure, the patriot for the animals. I thought it was great. Little story.
Yeah. I love it. Veronica.
Hey, so beautiful. I was about to say a little story about animals here, and then Shiva shared this. I'm also animal lover. And I live in the countryside, and here there is a lot of wildlife. There's this big capybara. I don't know if you know, the capybara is like the biggest rodent on earth. They are very cute. And they are, I always have a mother and 2 babies in my garden. They come here, and, you know, we have exchange of grass for grass cutting for food and sharing the space. And one day I needed to be alone, and here I live in a community, and my house is kind of a bit of a communal house for people come to charge their things or wash clothes, and I have my children, the parents of my children, my parents, everyone, and I needed to be on my own. And I went to bed to sleep, to try to have a nap, because I was in those moments that you need to go inwards. And at some point I was going to the toilet, and I was expecting, I hope I can, you know, there's no one outside, so I can, because I have the toilet, I have a dry toilet outside. And then when I go out, there was the mother, the capybara mother, on the, like, down of the deck, like 1 meter away from my door, lying there, and her babies, like, guarding the door. I was like, oh, thank you so much. It was really amazing. They are like, they really feel it. And one day I was also sad, and I was in the garden, she was there, and she was just standing very close, like 1.5 meters away from me, looking at me, like, sharing this moment, and yeah, they're precious. And once I was talking also with Jim and with Shelly and Jan, and they started talking about the white lion, and then someone opened the door, this window, and my white cat that you saw, I don't know if you saw him, but he came in and jumped on the table in front of the camera, like when they were talking about the white lion. Like, that was amazing. That's all I wanted to share.
He was a ham. He definitely was a ham. He was looking for a part in a movie. Whew, boy. Wow, what great sharing. I'm going to be processing this for I don't know how long. I think I'm going to turn it over to Maya to share some things. And yeah, why don't you share some things, and then either I'll finish it out with a prayer going out, unless somebody else wants to, Becky or Walter or Dan or anybody. But anyway, you're next, Maya.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, and I think I'll share two quick things. One, since I am a poet and I do want to learn the storytelling, but this is my storytelling. It's a very short one that I wrote called "The Rain Goddess Decides on Drought." And it was my imagination. I live in Southern California where we have a lot of drought, and I feel like I couldn't even look at this one. We were in such a drought. We finally got rain today, and we're getting rain for 3 days, and I'm so grateful. But I'll just read this, my imagination about the rain goddess, very short. And it tells us the story that I imagined. The rain goddess decides on drought. Rain skulks up there in her gray robes, withholding all but a fine mist, weighing whether or not they down there deserve her bounty. They who have squandered her riches on the indulgence of verdant lawns, lengthy showers, and never used swimming pools. They who let faucets flow with nary a thought for the source of this life-giving liquid, with not even a prayer of gratitude for its silken delight. Huh, she snorts and draws her cloud robes closer. Let them see what happens when their plastic bottles go empty. Let them see if they can survive on Coke. So my little story, I can see her up there holding back from those who don't appreciate her gifts. Awesome.
Thank you.
And then I just wanted to share, this is not my poem, but actually, I don't know where, she's from South America, Gabriela Mistral. And it's just a piece of a poem she wrote called The Teller of Tales. And it's a description of a storyteller. And it was translated by Ursula Le Guin, who's also a wonderful author and storyteller. And it just talks about how stories come. And I love this description in this poem. When I'm walking, everything on earth gets up and stops me and whispers to me, and what they tell me is their story. And the people walking on the road leave me their stories. I pick them up where they fell in cocoons of silken thread. Stories run through my body or sit purring in my lap. So many stories, they take my breath away, buzzing, boiling, humming. Uncalled, they come to me, and told, they still won't leave me.
Love it.
I like thinking of stories as living things that come and live in us.
Yeah, great point. They are, absolutely. Mm. Mm. Ah. Who would like to take us out? Anybody? With a final prayer or thoughts? Or... Okay, I guess I will. Whew. First of all, thank you. This was an awesome circle. I truly didn't know what to expect tonight, and I kind of like that because I'm contrary. But yeah, turned out to be so much more than I would have thought. And it was the perfect number of people to have a good conversation, but not be flooded with too many voices. And so we should probably do a prayer of gratitude. Wakatanka Tecumseh, Great Spirit, Great Mystery, God, Creator, Universe. It is I, Hotoshak Manatu Tanka, Graywolf, with my brothers and sisters here, part of this new tribe that is developing. We thank you for giving us this space and time to be together. We thank you for all the thoughts you instilled in us as we sat together. We wish to ask for whatever input you're willing to give us in the days ahead, not for ourselves, but so we can help to heal the sacred hoop wherever it is broken. Omatakuyase, all my relations. Ancestors. Ancestors of the East, the time of new beginnings, we call you in. Ancestors of the South, the summertime, the time of creation and procreation, we call you in. Ancestors of the West, the place of teachers, we call you in. And ancestors of the North, the old ones, who face the end of this one road but realize the whole new road is right before us, we call you in. Animals of the directions on the medicine wheel. The woodland animals of the East, we ask you to be here. The Wolf Nation, my nation on the West, please come and surround and protect these circles as we move ahead. White Buffalo of the North, Whale, the Keeper of Wisdom of the North, we invite you in, for you are part of our family too. Please remember to keep us aware of that as we move ahead. When we talk about tribe, we're talking about you just as much as we two-leggeds. So we can do this in the best possible way. Thank you for this space tonight. Thank you for being at this circle fire with us. Thank you for allowing us this space. Please continue. Continue to give ideas, thoughts, directions to any or all of us. If you give it to one of us in the circle, it'll reach the whole circle. We ask this once again, not for ourselves, but so we can help to heal the sacred hoop wherever it is broken. Om Matakuyase, all my relations. Father Sky, Mother Earth, my two strongest connections. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you again for allowing us this space, this energy, this time, because we are slow learners. But hopefully now we're starting to move. We're starting to do things so that we can make the changes necessary. We're starting to act out the prophecies that so many of us have been taught in so many different cultures. We can do this. We are doing this. In the way of the Aborigines, it's already done. We've already dreamed the dream. Now we have to act it out. We ask you to continue to stay with us, to continue to be that model of male and female coming together in equality, harmony, and strength that we're told we must have in this new earth if it's going to be done in a good way. So we thank you, all the ancestors, all the spirits, all of each one of our ancestors for being here with us on this journey. And thank you for allowing us to take this journey so that we can continue to heal the sacred hoop wherever it is broken. Om Matakuyasi, all my relations. I am you and you are me. Aho. Whew. And so it is. Thanks to everybody. Those who had to leave, thank you. But here we'll go through Angelique, Galaxy. I don't know who you are, but it doesn't matter. Laura, Darwin, Veronica, Dan, Jiva. Is that right? Becky, Maya, Walter, Sue, Jim. Oh, that's me. Tanya. Tanya looked really good tonight.
Yeah.
Well, somebody just popped in now. That's funny. Okay. So I'm going to cut us out, and I will get this up, and we can put it for those in the circle, especially us. Thank you all. Shtelo.
Thank you.
Night, everybody.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Will we be back in this circle?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
We'll post more.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
thank you.